What's going on, guys? And here we are. Today, we'll be talking about the NBA offseason and a few other things, such as, my man, the Golden State Warriors, Andrew Wiggins. Oh, man, what a game. Okay, and look, also, I just found an ant. Like, I just came from my mom's house, and there's like a legit ant infestation there. So, for me, ants have been fucking grossing me out. But I'm over here waiting for Will to hop on. And I want to hear your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this NBA conference final so far? Okay. And also, we're talking about the Russell Westbrook trade or not. So I'm making a ticketer right now. And there we go. Ticketer's up. Okay. So here we are. Today is an interesting day. I got my coffee. I said Will gonna leave for today. And the NBA is a crazy time because when you watch it, you always think what's gonna happen. And not my little hot topic coffee. I don't know. I put shit out of my tongue. I just spit all that coffee out. Wow. Let's just go into the news. First off, Andrew Wiggins is a phenom. The Golden State Warriors are away from returning to the NBA Finals after beating the Dallas Mavericks 109 to 100 in Game 3 on Sunday night, led by a 31-point performance from Steph Curry, a 27-point, 11 rebound double-double from Andrew Wiggins. The Golden State once again asserted their dominance over the Dallas Mavericks to take a commanding 3-0 lead. And the crazy part about all this is our man in Luka Doncic continues to say the series is not over until the fat lady sings, but we can agree, sadly, the series might be over. Luka tried to will the Mavericks to a win with 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists, but once again, despite the 46 points combined between Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie, they didn't have enough in the tank to come back and win and to get back into the series. The Warriors will try to close out tomorrow night, and let me see if he's having trouble. He just said he's having trouble. But tonight we have Boston versus Miami. And I could see Boston winning this game tonight to tie up the series, but I could also see the Heat going up 3-1. But we could also be missing our man Jimmy Butler, which, obviously would suck. I'm going to send him another. I don't know if there's a problem going on that he can't join. I wonder. But yeah, we saw a lot of good stuff from Andrew Wiggins this past game. I think it's been fun. It definitely has been fun. Andrew Wiggins has just been reborn. Now, we go into the Miami Heat Boston series, which I definitely think is going to be interesting, to say the least. And we also don't know who or what or why we're going to be available tonight. I don't know why I'm just kind of out of it today. I did go to sleep very late. But, hey, we have our man. What up? What up? Is the audio fine?
Yep.
All right, word. Sounds good. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. You have a good weekend?
Oh, yeah. Didn't really do
That's
much.
good.
No.
I didn't do shit either.
I got some wings
I was
here.
actually late. Yeah. I was on a Red Bull binge last week, and I had it like every day. So for the past 3 days, I switched it up. And I went to coffee, but I
Nice.
just burnt myself. Like
Oh,
I had to
nice.
spit it out. Yeah, first minute of the stream, I took a sip and I was like, "This is hot coffee," and just spit it out on the floor right in
Jeez.
front of everyone.
Nice.
So you saw last night's game?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I think everything's coming to plan, is what I think. So
Let me hear your predictions. What's gonna happen?
it's a
Both
sweep.
sides. It's a sweep. Okay.
Yeah, Warriors are sweeping the Mavs. Luka has plenty of help. Just had to throw that in there. And then we're gonna go Boston in 6, but we're not
You
really
think
gonna
Boston's gonna come
know.
back and
we're not really feeling too great about it, but we're gonna run with it. So,
all
what are
all
you
right.
thinking?
I like that comment that you said Luca has plenty of help because we'll go into that in a second. But I agree that it's going to be a sweep. I think the one that I disagree with as much as a fan of Boston I am because of my father. I don't know. I feel like the Miami Heat, unless Jimmy Butler is 100% out for the series, I think the Miami Heat squeak this one out. But again, I think whoever wins tonight wins the series.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Because if the Heat win tonight without Butler, they're one game away. But if the Celtics win tonight, I just think the Celtics come back and just demolish.
Yeah.
Not demolish, but
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm like so surprised Miami stole game 3 in Boston. But
Bam
yeah,
Adebayo.
100%. Two of the, or after tonight's game, 2 of the 3 will be in Miami. And if Miami wins this, I mean, it's over. It is
Yeah,
over.
exactly. But at the same time, like you said, I would not be surprised if somehow our guy just comes in and takes over in the sense Bam Adebayo like he did last. I don't know. I just feel like Eric Spoelstra is the better coach between Boston and like, no nothing against Udoka, but I think when you look at who's the more experienced coach, I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah,
I just think
100%. I mean, first year coach versus the fucking finals proven Hall of Fame coach. Yeah.
exactly, and it's kind of hard to go against that, but. I think right now we're getting good basketball. I think this is the most intense basketball, except the Western Conference has kind of been a little disappointing. But for the most part, I think this has been one of the more exciting playoffs we've had in recent memory.
Dude, okay. Get ready, buckle in, everyone. Buckle in,
Okay.
listeners. Because I'm getting so annoyed at dudes like Rusty and Kenny and every soul that makes YouTube videos tweeting out, is it too much to ask for a non-blowout, or these playoffs are so boring, these ain't it. The replies will be like, yeah, bro, I haven't watched much of this playoffs. It's just not hitting the same. It's like, you just called yourself out. You just said you're not watching the freaking games. Like, do you not enjoy basketball? It's like the whole case. I'm having plenty of fun with these basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of fun. I'm enjoying these narratives. I don't even like the Heat or the Celtics in the slightest, and I think that series is everything and anything and everything I could have asked for. So I'm having a blast. I cannot wait for tonight. It's gonna be awesome. And Warriors Mavs is a little bit like we were talking about this last week. Like talent wise, it's just a little bit different. They're still
That's a good
good
way to put it.
games. It's not like I'm watching these
Mm-hmm.
games. I'm thinking, oh man, the Mavs are doing nothing. Like the Warriors are spanking them. Like it's not all that. It's not really how the 3-0 looks for all whatever 48 times 3 would be. So
No, I completely agree with that.
hell
I
yeah.
think one thing people don't realize with this. Okay, so it's kind of if we have to agree. Besides the Eastern Conference, I mean, the Eastern Conference. I think a lot of people were thinking Bucks Sixers was going to be the conference finals. I I really think this NBA playoffs has been unexpected. We've had NBA playoffs that have not. I don't think if you would have gone into the beginning of the year and you said, "Oh, this is going to happen," you would have believed that if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And with if I had told you in the beginning of the season, "Oh, it's going to be Boston versus Miami," you might have believed Miami, but you wouldn't have believed Boston. If I had told you it was going to be Warriors versus Mavs, you definitely would not have believed
Yeah.
that. And I think that's definitely something people, I guess you could say, I don't know. I think one problem with the NBA as a whole is I don't know why they struggle compared to like the NFL. Maybe this is just me watching NFL for way too long. In the NFL, there's less casuals. People are way more diehards fans. Like I swear, like there are so many people. Maybe it's because the NFL does a better job of getting stats out there and making sure everyone's informed. Because I feel like
Mm.
every journalist or NFL media member is always just posting uh, next gen stats or Pro Football Focus rankings.
Pro Football
I feel like in the
Focus.
NBA, you
Sorry.
know, yeah. Do you have like a passive Pro Football Focus?
Do I have a what?
Do you have a pad? Do you not like Pro Football
No,
Focus?
no, that's just you. You nailed it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It
Oh
was
no, no,
on
you're good,
on
you're
me.
good, you're good. No, no, no. So I think over here in the NBA, first off, all the NBA stat places like Cleaning the Glass and Synergy, you have to pay for that shit. I mean, you do have to pay for the other ones in the NFL, but like you at least get like you can see like the basic shit. I don't know. I just feel
Mm.
like the NBA, so many casuals just act like they on Twitter and on in YouTube comment section act like they know what they're doing. Especially if you do off-season videos, they're like, yeah, let's just trade for DeAndre Ayton, Miles Bridges, and all these guys. I'm like, do you not understand? There's a fucking salary cap.
Exactly, dude. I mean, it probably plays into the role that there's only 16 regular season football games, and
Oh
so it makes
yeah.
them that much more meaningful. And then also, I mean, they're just like bigger. They're ginormous stadiums. I mean, I don't know why I can't remember what I was, but yeah, I feel what you're saying. Like, it's hard. For example, like I don't know, like a random playoff game in football, there's so many implications on it that even if my favorite football team, the Green Bay Pack Show, were out of the playoffs, I'm still gonna watch
Mm-hmm.
every playoff game regardless. But I'm not even like a hardcore football fan. That's like a casual. I'm a casual football fan, and I'm watching every single playoff game.
I mean, they own Sunday. They literally
They
own the
own
day
it.
of the week.
You have no other. And as a golfer, it's like I don't even. My job is to talk and make golf videos, and I watch football on Sunday instead of golf.
I will say I've not watched the USFL. I think I watched like half a game the inaugural week. Have you watched any of the USFL?
No, I was. We were just talking about this on one of my football channels yesterday. I haven't. It's just something to like throw on if I would. I wouldn't.
I've
Yeah.
seen YouTube videos like recapping it for me if there's any players I know, but I don't really
Mm.
care. I'm more excited. Like I'll watch the XFL just because I know it's The Rock. I don't know
Yeah.
why I feel more stoked. I probably won't watch either, but like
Yeah.
either way, let's move on. And so I don't know David Aldridge. I don't know if you're aware of David Aldridge. He's in
2K
2K.
legend. Yeah.
Yeah, 2K legend. In real life, he's a well-respected journalist working for the Athletic, and he interviewed
Ooh.
Magic Johnson. Yeah, and in this interview with Magic Johnson, he talked about, oh, guess what? They're probably gonna have to keep. First off, that they're gonna probably hire a former NBA player as their head coach because it's right now what Terry Stotts, Darvin Ham, Kenny Atkinson, and I guess the fourth one would be Mark Jackson or Charles Lee. And either way, they're gonna hire a former ex coach because they need someone to command respect and put LeBron in his place. Is basically what Magic Johnson said in a nicer way. And then he was like, "What about Russell Westbrook?" David Aldridge insinuated, and Magic Johnson responded, "He's like, well, you're gonna have to get the right coach because if you think about it, if you're gonna trade Russell Westbrook, you're going to get some bad contracts back. What do you rather pay? 1 year 47 million, it's off the books forever, or spread 47 over a few bad contracts and have to deal with the ramifications of a few bad guys for a few years. You know, try to fix one guy or try to fix multiple guys.
Yeah. So
And what were you going to say, Go? I was just going to say Russell Westbrook, as a Wizards fan, he was insane on the Wizards.
mm,
Like to finish that run. I granted it was his former coach coaching the team, so like there was like some former familiarity between the schemes. But go ahead. What do you think
yeah.
about
What
what
is
Russell Westbrook said?
my my follow up was gonna be uh what does DA think they should do?
Oh, DA. Let me pull up. I wanted to see. I didn't see what DA said. Let me pull this up.
On the Lake Show, Russell Westbrook is not the man for the job in the slightest. So I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of him, and I'm taking on the contracts. But then, like, you have stuff like the Pacers, who, we've seen, and this is all obviously speculation, but we've seen stuff of like Russell Westbrook for Malcolm Brogdon and Buddy Hield. Like, I would do something like that in a heartbeat, but the question is, are they going to want to do that? Because if I'm the Pacers, I am trying to get rid of those two players, but the Pacers are in a weird spot where it's like, why would you really do that if you have Tyrese Halliburton? If you're like, I don't. The whole Lakers situation is so confusing. Or it's
the
a
whole
tough
Lakers
spot.
It's like, honestly, it's a whole mess. But that's where I come back and I'm thinking, if you can get Russell Westbrook to be a decent player, then yeah. But Russell Westbrook can't be the catch and shoot guy. Russell Westbrook has to be the facilitator. You kind of have to tell LeBron and AD to be catch and shoot guys. Am I wrong right there?
No, he has to. Unless he magically finds a way, Russell Westbrook needs to have the basketball in his hands when they're pushing it downhill. But what Frank Vogel wanted, what the Lakers wanted, is whoever gets the rebound, you start to push it, or you pass out to the first dude you see. Like, so yeah, I think Russell Westbrook is not a fit in LA unless they're gonna change both offensive and defensive schemes, but I have a hard time imagining a LeBron James team where he isn't bringing up the basketball like 50% of the time.
I completely agree. Like, how I can't imagine them not having, yeah, like you said, LeBron not kickstarting the fast break. That just would not happen. And I don't know. I honestly think I would trade Russell Westbrook only for John Wall, unless you can trade Russell Westbrook for, like, I guess it would be Buddy Hield and who was the other guy you said?
Brogdon.
Yeah, Brogdon. But then you go with, yeah, Brogdon's a great player, but hasn't he missed like 60 or 80 games in the past 3 years? Yeah, he hasn't played.
He's not. He can't stay healthy.
Yeah, so you start to think.
Like I said, if I'm Indiana, why do I want Russell Westbrook though? Like, I don't know.
To buy him out. That's the only reason. You're just trying to get younger. Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be funny as hell. I could see John Wall making a much bigger impact on the Lakers. I still don't think it's ideal, but I could definitely see him making a better impact.
I think he's hungry. He just hasn't played in forever, so
yeah.
I think he just wants an opportunity to show. But at the same time, I think he might go back to the Wizards. Like, everyone's been saying that he wants to go back to Washington. Washington needs a point guard. Mid-level exceptions, 10.3. He would be willing to take $10 million if he's bought out to go play next to Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, KCP. And then you start to think about it. You're like, holy shit, John Wall, even if he's like the same guy he was in Houston that one year, that's kind of like a top 6 team in the East.
Mm-hmm. No, you still got it. 20-6. Yeah. Still got it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely an interesting situation, especially when you look at I think the draft. So this draft is I think this draft, besides the top 3 guy, it's pretty even. Like, there's no one super good, but it's very deep in role players. And I think the draft is when we're going to see all the moves go down. I don't think we'll hear much until draft day, because there's multiple teams with 2 to 3 first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
Most teams aren't going to take 3 rookies onto their team,
especially Memphis. I mean,
yeah.
What did they?
Memphis has 2 picks.
Oh, really?
And they have Steven Adams. Yeah, and they have Steven Adams, which he's awesome, but he's kind of overpaid at almost $20 million a year.
And they didn't really even play him much.
Exactly. You rather go. You can probably pay somebody a quarter or half that money to give you the same performance that he
Yeah.
gave you.
I mentioned this in my video yesterday. I saw some BS rumor about Sean Marks and Rob Pelinka meeting up and discussing getting LeBron to Brooklyn. I'm like, hell no. But it
What
got
about
me
Sean
thinking.
Marks coming?
It just got me thinking, like, this is gonna be a crazy offseason. I just know it. I know there's gonna be, even if it's not like 15 trades, I just know like something's going down. Something's gonna be interesting. Something's gonna be fun. As an NBA guy, I think it'll be entertaining.
I think one thing we're counting out as I drop my fucking jewel, either way, I wanted to hit it. I think this offseason, okay, there's a bunch of teams that want to take the jump, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know, we've seen in the NFL, the best way to put this is what the Los Angeles Rams did. Let's say F first round picks, let's just trade for people who are established. Now, Spaceball has became a thing where you take out a center, you go ultra spaced, and you shoot a lot of threes. So teams are going to have to figure out how to counterbalance that. They're either going to counterbalance that by going super big, a la the Toronto Raptors, where the Toronto Raptors are trying to have like 5 guys who are 6'7" or to 6'9", and who can play basically and guard every position. Or you're going to see people go along the lines of the Dallas Mavericks, which is going small. We've already seen teams, the Raptors, Bucks, and the Cavs. Bucks did Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, Giannis Antetokounmpo in the playoffs. Yes, that was because Chris Middleton was out, but if Chris Middleton was healthy, they would probably put Chris Middleton at shooting guard and Drew at point guard instead of Pat Connaughton or Grayson Allen that they ran with Drew. Then you think about the Cavs. They had Lauri Markkanen, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Pascal Siakam, Precious Achiuwa, Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, Gary Trent. And they're probably going to trade one of those guys, but we're seeing other teams like the Warriors, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Steph Curry. No one's taller than 6'6", 6'7". Then you have the Mavs, Maxi Kleber, 6'9", 6'8", Davis Bertans, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Luka Doncic. Also, they're playing a hell of Frank Ntilikina. Did you notice that?
You can defend.
Frank Ntilikina. Oh, I tweeted that. I always forget Frank Ntilikina is probably, like, if he played enough, he probably would be a regular All-NBA team defender. Like, he'd probably be second team every year, but he's so bad at offense. I think I saw him pass up. Like, he touched the ball, immediately passed it. It was just like, don't even think about passing me the ball on offense, even if I'm wide open. I just won't shoot it.
No, it's tough.
So what do you think? Do you think the NBA is going small or big?
I think we're getting back to big.
Wow.
I think too many teams are making the Mavs mistake.
And what is that?
Still, like, with the Warriors, they still, like, Kevon Looney, I mean, he's playing a big role right now.
I think 15 to 20 minutes?
He is, though. He is. If I'm in the NBA, I'm trying to replicate the Toronto Raptors because Masai is ahead of his time, and they're so versatile, and their future is so set that, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody gets traded. I don't want them to, and I don't think that they will, but I wouldn't be surprised if something gets traded. They had, like, 12 during their, like, 20-man roster or whatever at Summer League last year. They had, like, 12 players with 6'9" or above wingspans. And so I think you need to get to versatility and defense because the Mavs, like, you're just seeing right now, like, people finally starting to realize this. Like, you cannot win a basketball trophy finals trophy, I should say, without having a complete team. And like, you can't focus around one player. It's never been done before.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it's never been done. Like, Chris Middleton's closer. Like, this has never been done before. Like, so I think
we can all agree the Boston Celtics series, you have to start when you talk about it. Chris Middleton wasn't there.
Yeah.
Or you can. I think that series would go a lot different if Chris Middleton was there.
Well, still though, both teams have centers, and both teams, like Heat, Celtics, and the Bucks, they're all like more traditional style. Like, you've got a point guard, you've got a big man. It's not heliocentric, I guess is the way to.
That was a nice word. Nice word right there.
Yeah,
good phrase.
I mean, it's just so. Maybe it's just so obviously clear to me watching James Harden and the Houston Rockets, but it's like that was never going to and is never going to work. So, yeah.
I think James Harden's gone. Like, he's not the same guy he was in Houston.
Yeah.
Do you think that's just because he's out of shape, or do you think just age?
It's both, because he never took care of his body when he was in his prime or thriving, but he's still, as Pat Bev put it, he's still one of the best, if not the best, to do what he does, even at his age and at his speed right now. So,
go into depth. What do you mean, first off? What do you think James Harden's skill set is that he wasn't playing, like that he's good at, that we obviously didn't see him completely do in Philadelphia? And / what do you mean he didn't take care of himself in Houston as you're a Rockets fan?
well, he would go clubbing after a game, is what I mean by him. You know, how many 4 a.m. cheeseburgers has he had? And then, like, chicken wings, pizza, ice cream, booze. Like, so he didn't take care of his body one bit. If he was Giannis Antetokounmpo's work ethic, he would have a ring by now. If James Harden had Giannis Antetokounmpo's work ethic, he would have a ring by now. And what was it? What did he not do in Philadelphia?
Yeah, what's his skill set in Philadelphia that he didn't do?
No, this is just it's still what he has right now. It's just that the fact of him, he is still one of the, like, as far as vision goes, as far as passing goes, at his position, he is still one of the best. He can still give you 20 and 10. He'll still get you 6 rebounds. He's still a force. Like, you're still not going to leave James Harden open for a 3. You're still probably going to collapse, or part of the defense is probably going to collapse once he drives into the paint. Like, he's still just respected. Like, you still just have to respect his game, even though he took, 2 shots in the elimination game for the Nets. So
yeah, he did pull the Ben Simmons.
Yeah, like, as shitty as it is, and trust me, like, I'm fully aware of how doggy it is, but, like, this is just how he is. This is who he is. It's so annoying.
What happened to James Harden, the steal? Like, James Harden used to be a guy who used to lead the NBA in steals. What happened to that guy? I know steals are a very overrated stat. Steals don't matter anything. Like, Trae Young gets almost 2 steals a game. Okay, and that Trae Young is a horrendous defender. You get a steal if you end up having the ball knocked into your hand. But I feel like James Harden used to, especially when Pat Bev was there, he used to be able to reach into the cookie jar occasionally.
Yeah. I mean, that Game 7 in the bubble against the Thunder. Lou Dort.
Boom. Yeah, right there. Right. That's a great example right there. And I don't know, it's just, obviously they're not going to get rid of James Harden, but do you think they paid James Harden the max? Do you think James Harden's going into free agency expecting to be paid $40+ million?
Yeah, and I mean...
But he's not worth it, but do you have to give it to him?
Yeah, you do have to give it to him.
That's the messed up part. He's not worth it. He's definitely not going to be worth it when he's 35, when it ends.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at another Russell Westbrook situation where you're trying to discard that contract.
Oh, yeah.
That's
tough.
wild.
I know.
And his game doesn't age gracefully unless he becomes like a Ray Allen-esque three-point shooter where he's just eight. I mean, he's a great three-point shooter, but he relies on finesse to get open.
Whatever team picks him up is.
You think he stays in Philadelphia?
I think at this time next year, no.
Wait, you're thinking he signs and then they trade him again? He gets traded for a third mid-season trade again? I'm about to put this in the...
He might, dude. I just like. Actually, I guess 1 year from now is 100%. I don't know how. I don't know why. Or I know why, it's James Harden, but I don't know how it would happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen. Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid, whatever it's gonna be, someone's gonna get pissed off. Someone's gonna speak their mind. Harden's gonna get booed out of Philly. Something's gonna happen. And this time next year, if he's not already gone from Philadelphia, he will be. Everybody will be having whole episodes talking about James Harden leaving. Where's he going? Is he returning back to Houston? Is he going to Chicago? Lakers, LeBron, Kevin Durant? Is he going back to Brooklyn?
I honestly think if James Harden goes anywhere, he won't choose where to go. I think that if he gets traded again, Daryl Morey's just going to be like, go fuck yourself. I don't care. I'm sending you to like Sacramento or like
no,
or you know, like go have fun in Indiana, bro.
Oh no!
How are the strip clubs out there?
No.
Enjoy those Midwest cheeks.
Oh man. Daryl Morey loves him too much.
I know, but Daryl Morey also seems like the type of person to like flip on a dime, like his emotions. He might love you one day, but like the next day he'd be like, ah. Also, I think I respect Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers is the coach that gets you to the playoffs, but I think Doc Rivers is also. But then you're going to come. He won the championship with Boston Celtics, but he won a championship with 3 Hall of Famers on the roster, and arguably 4 if you put Rajon Rondo there.
And I
don't know. Doc Rivers does Doc Rivers coach practice again, or does he still not coach practice? Because I know Doc Rivers, when he was fired from the Clippers, Paul George and Kawhi were like, "Yeah, we never had practice," and then like a few other guys came out and they're like, "We haven't had practice for like 5 years," and Blake Griffin was like, "Yeah, we never had practice. Like practice is not a thing," which is like he's a player's coach, which means he's like, "Why do we have practice when there's no point? You guys are professional athletes, just train." That's the theory, I assume. I don't know if that's actually what he thinks, but I think his theory is he's a former NBA player. He's thinking, you guys are professional athletes. Why are we going to have practice when all you guys need to do is just shoot around every day, run some drills, and then in-game, I'll draw up the plays. The plays just need to come up in-game. But then I personally think practice is important. I think I'm a person that you need practice, you need to build chemistry. But I understand, do you get what I'm saying? Like Doc Rivers probably is thinking, like, get as much rest possible. Why am I going to make my guys work hard on off days?
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't agree. I know someone's going to be, we're talking about practice. We're talking about practice, man. Practice. That's what I always think. That's probably Doc Rivers' thought line, is he's Allen Iverson. We're talking about practice. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't believe in this. I want to say I don't believe in this thought process, but I think that's Doc Rivers' thought process when it comes to not coaching practice.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Yeah. Trying to rationalize.
Because I'm a firm believer in, like, we need practice so we can install the plays we want to run. Let's install how your teammates are going to be playing. I don't know. I think practice is so key in any sport.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect.
That's a good question. I mean,
I'm also a firm believer that not all practice is good. Only good practice is good. Because anybody can go out and practice and give their shit performance. You're not going to get better. You got to try as hard as you would in a game in practice to get better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, That's why I'm throwing. I am classifying Rajon Rondo as a Hall of Famer, and that's why he won with 4 Hall of Famers. I'm not really quite sure how he did that. If they're not practicing.
Again, 4 Hall of Famers. You had 4 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I guess they know what they're doing.
He went to 2 finals. He lost 1, and he won the other. I mean, what Kobe had in that 2 finals run? Paul Gasol, Kobe. I guess that's the only Hall of Fame. You wouldn't put Ron Artest or Lamar Odom as Hall of Famers. You wouldn't put Derek Fisher. I guess Phil Jackson was his coach, so.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think Phil Jackson got a fair run with the Knicks. Like, he drafted Kristaps Porzingis. I think his tenure as a Knicks is a win.
He's just super interesting. He's super interesting.
I read it. I didn't read, but I listened to his audiobook. I love when I do my drives to or from Maryland, because it's 18 hours. I usually listen to an audiobook regarding the NBA. I've done Nick Nurse's. I've done Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, he would have like meditation, like daily, with his like dark room. Everybody, I think they held hands and they just sat there in the dark and matched the breathing. They just sat there and everyone breathed at the same. Like Shaq has said, like it is one of the best things ever. Like Shaq's like all for, and so like all for Phil Jackson's coaching style.
I remember you see that a little bit in the Last Dance. He was a hippie. He was like
he's a hippie.
He's like a true hippie.
Yeah,
one of the last true hippies.
He believes in not only that there's a philosophical level of basketball besides the actual physical play, but there's also a spiritual level between a team. And to be good, he like stresses in his book, not only does your team need to be at the same level of a philosophical level, but also a spiritual level to have like great success. Everybody needs to be on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
basically. Some deep shit with Phil Jackson. Like, Phil Jackson is on some shit. Like, he doesn't talk about drugs in the book at all, but Phil Jackson was popping some LSD and allegedly. Again, I don't want Phil Jackson to. It's very unlikely he will, but I bet Phil Jackson seems like he had the Bill Walton experience before Bill Walton.
No, he definitely doing that. He was super cool. I fully agree. You're only as good as your weakest link. And that's why he's who he is. So, as far as his tenure with the Knicks go, he did Carmelo Anthony dirty.
Why? Or how? I don't recall. I like the Knicks, but the whole Knicks saga is weird. Also, shout out Carmelo from West Baltimore, Towson Catholic grad. I know so many people who played high school basketball with him. But continue.
Oh, nice.
He's from Baltimore, so.
Oh, I think it just forced him out of New York. Like
he
literally
should
just
have left like 4 years earlier.
Yeah, it's tough because my buddy is like such a big Melo fan that once to him
he should have gone to Chicago.
Yeah, he should have. To him, Phil knocked him out, or pretty much made it impossible for Carmelo to stay or want to stay, and he's like a huge anti-Knick guy now.
Yeah, and he was like a huge Brooklyn guy.
The case of Melo is tough. It's tough. I remember the years 2010. I remember playing 2K9 on the Wii, balling out. Ooh. Allen Iverson, Marcus Camby, Carmelo Anthony, J.R. Smith. Yeah.
I remember 2K11 on the Wii. That was my 2K11 on the Wii. I remember video games on the Wii. That made me really... Because I remember I got a Wii before I got a 360. Biggest mistake ever. Because I had a PS2, Xbox, and I went and traded them in for a Wii.
No.
It was like the move. Well, like, because my parents... It was the first time my parents ever got stoked for a console. You know? Like, they were like, oh, you should really get the Wii. And so my parents convinced me to trade in all my old consoles. Because as I think about it retrospectively, my parents didn't want to pay full price for the Wii. So they were like, you should trade in your old consoles so they didn't have to pay full price for the Wii.
they're also getting you off those 2 consoles. They're doing a 2-for-1 swap.
Yeah. Yeah, they screwed me over retrospectively looking at this. They finagled me. They finessed me. They because
Game
we got
of chess.
the Wii, and yeah, it was a game of chess. It was really, parents just don't understand, okay? Because they screwed me over with the Wii. Because I remember I had the Wii for like a year and a half, 2 years before I got a 360. And I would go over to my friend's house, we'd play all the game, all the cool games, and then you would ask your parents to buy them for the Wii, and you're like, this is not the same fucking game on 360 or PS3. You'd be playing like 2K, and you'd be like, graphics are completely different. You have to like move your arms to like shoot and shit.
Yeah. I remember COD sucking. You had to like.
Yeah,
You had to like.
You had to aim.
Yeah.
But I remember, you know what's another thing? What sucks now? My career. They ruined my career. I remember like working so hard for an Under Armour shoe deal.
Yeah,
the
incentives used to be way more fun in my career. Now you just score like 80 points. Yeah, just go buy 100K of VC for $12 and get to level 90.
You had to play like 40 games just to get a shitty shoe contract. And then like now when you can choose to be an undrafted free agent, and I can like say I'll take the least amount of money to be the 6th man. And back then you literally had to go to the G League, play in the G League for like half the year if you weren't a first round pick. Also the scouting combine. 2K, they should hire like, I don't even know, like I could tell them everything wrong with their game.
Yeah, right.
Same thing with Madden. Just make Madden 12 with updated rosters, and I think everybody would be happy.
Madden 12 was
Payne Hillis on the cover.
Wow, you are interesting. Wow. With Peyton Hillis on the cover?
That's the last good Madden where when a player would retire, he would join the coaching pool. So then you can make him either a special teams coordinator, an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, or your head coach. And then you could also relocate teams. You could import draft classes from NCAA 14. You could also, or NCAA 12, I guess it would have been. And you could have like create a team. It was the last Madden that was where it was basically everything that everybody's been requesting was in it, and it was just it was my favorite because I used to import like the RG3 Andrew Luck draft class.
That is cool. You can relocate though.
This one there wasn't set teams. You could literally go create your own jerseys, your own stuff. You know, like how now it's all.
You're
set.
right.
You can this you can go to any city.
Okay.
You could you chose the city. You chose everything. You built the stadium yourself. There was like in-depth. It was like, you look how 2K you can create everything.
Yeah.
That's
I think
how it
you
was.
can still do that in Madden. We have a live chat. It's crazy.
Yeah, someone said in the live chat, does the Mavs have any chance of winning the series? I mean, Luka Doncic said the series that, yeah, I know. Okay, I went into the series, actually thought they had a chance. You said it earlier. Luka Doncic is not going to win this series, and he has help. I want you go in and explain why you believe that even though Luka Doncic has help, that he's not going to win this series. How does Luka Doncic have help, and why won't he win this series? I mean, 26 points combined last night from Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie.
I was gonna say, let me look up last night's stats, but like I don't know. I feel like people make it seem like he's got absolutely nothing. He's got all these late 20 role players that know exactly what they're doing. Reggie Bullock 0-10. But yeah, Jalen Brunson 20 points, Spencer Dinwiddie 26 points. To me, that's the end of that's the end of that. Like, I don't think. Obviously, he doesn't have the star power like Kyrie Irving in 2016 with LeBron James next to him, but like that's top level. First off, Jalen Brunson,
Dirk Nowitzki didn't have any talent when he won in 2011. Remember, it was Jason Kidd was old as hell, Sean Marion was old as hell, Deshaun Stevenson, Jason Terry, Brendan Hayward, Tyson Chandler, Ian Mahimi. Brian Cardinal. Holy crap! Why? I just have like a weird thing where I can just remember rosters.
But those are, yeah. I mean,
None of those guys were all-stars except Dirk Nowitzki, and Dirk Nowitzki was like 32. This is why I've said this whole playoffs, this Mavs team felt very reminiscent of that
Mavs
one team. Yeah, because there wasn't a
okay.
superstar besides Dirk, besides Luka.
Yeah, I can see the comparison to it, but
Ethan said over here the Mavs don't have a defensive player as the Warriors. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith, he's their defensive player. I agree that Andrew Wiggins being out there, I mean, we saw last night, Andrew Wiggins was playing shadow Doncic. Every time Doncic came off the floor, Wiggins came off the floor. You saw Doncic rip off the pants to come back in the game. Wiggins ripped off the pants to come back in the game.
yeah.
But I agree, yeah. They have Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson versus Dorian Finney-Smith, Frank Ntilikina, and I guess you would say the third best defender is either Reggie Bullock or Josh Green. And that's not great. That's not great. Granted, Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith have developed and progressed as defenders so tremendously more than you ever expect. Even Dorian Finney-Smith as a shooter, but like Ethan said right here, there's no defensive player on the Mavs that they're literally putting Frank Ntilikina out there, who's a black hole on offense. I understand he's good at defense. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, but there's a reason why there aren't any Tony Allens left.
Okay. Here's the thing. Let me tell you about one basketball player who 14 months ago was in the G League. His name, Jordan Poole. Let me tell you about another cat.
He was?
Yes. Let me tell you about another player who this time last season was not in the NBA, Moses Moody. Let me tell you about another super underrated guy, but, you know, JTA. Who we
He's not even playing anymore.
Who
JTA does not even play.
He should be playing. The Bulls should go sign him because he's underrated. But Kevon Looney all of a sudden good. Is Andrew Wiggins all-star starter who's been clowned all season for being an all-star starter? Is he all of a sudden some help now? The answer is yeah. So Marquise Chris. Oh. I mean, at this point, ain't nothing can. They got nothing to lose, so that's kind of a pretty cool idea right there, I would say.
I was about to say, I was like, that's not a bad idea. And I actually talked about this with my friend. I was like, they keep putting Maxi Kleber and Davis Bertans at the center position, but Marquise Chris during the regular season, I know he only averaged 10 minutes a night for the Mavs, but he grabbed 3 rebounds, about 5 points, shot 32% from 3, 46% from the field, half a steal, half a block. I honestly think a lineup of Marquise Chris at center, and then you either put Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Luka, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Reggie Bullock. I kind of like that because Marquise Chris is athletic enough in transition. I just think rotationally, by having Marquise Chris, you'd be able to switch everything.
Yeah. End of the day, here is this. The Mavs lose all their games. Let's phrase it this way. The Mavs win all their games because of Luka, but lose all their games because of Luka. Round 1 and round 2, Luka Doncic. There was no concern. There was no ifs, ands, or buts that he had help. But then you get to the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, all of a sudden he's got no help. Yesterday, what I saw is way too many ISOs, just like James frickin' Harden, and he can't play defense. Just like, I guess we were just talking about Harden being able to play defense, but Luka's worse, probably to me, at that age. Luka can't play defense, and they have plenty of guys who know what they're doing. They got plenty of shooters. They got plenty of rim rollers. They have enough to like have a win. I love Luka. It's not winning basketball. So Marquise Chris can't save him. Jalen, what is the guy's name? Josh Green can't save him. He's pretty dope though. Dwight Powell
I think
can't save him. Jalen Brunson can't save him. Spencer Dinwiddie can't save him. They can't be saved. Dubs in 4. And if not Dubs in 4, then it's Dubs in 5, and that's the end of the story. The Warriors would have to have every single player in the starting lineup injured in order for the Mavs to win this series.
They would have to have. I really think if Andrew Wiggins went down, the Mavs would have a shot. Andrew Wiggins has made Luka Doncic's life impossible. Also, what is it, Luka over the last 2 games or 3 games? Luka has not had near a double-double. Typically, Luka is always near a triple-double. And what? He had 3 assists this past game. Game before, yeah, he had 8 assists, but he had like a shit ton of turnovers.
I'm telling you, he's
4 assists, 4 assists. Yeah, I agree, ISO. I agree. Another thing, as much as I love Luka, he complained. He's kind of toned it down the last 2 games, but he is king, bitch, and moan. Like, I know everyone comes at LeBron for going all the time, but Luka, he's like, I don't know if it's because he's from Europe and in soccer, in football, we yell at the refs. Growing up with Argentine and Italian parents, I watched a lot of soccer. And you know how they are. They literally chirp at the refs. They tell the refs everything on their mind when the ref calls a foul. But in basketball, you can't do that. Like, Luka literally always turns around and he's just chirping at the ref, like, so hard. Or he's going, like literally getting super emotional. I'm just like, I don't know. In the NBA, I feel like there's a place in time, obviously, to bitch and moan at the refs. But there's a point where if you go too much, I feel like it becomes like detrimental to your team because you just seem like you're complaining that everything's not going your way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, it's counterintuitive because now you just look like a guy who's just complaining because you're losing and you're not getting the calls you want.
Exactly, yeah.
But do you think this is another... Okay, so Luka, you could argue the defense, he sucks at defense because of athleticism. Do you think it's because of athleticism or it's just he doesn't really care? Because he gets hunted for mismatch. When he's on defense, teams on purposely call pick and roll, so he gets switched on to them.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of athleticism. I'm sure probably mentality plays a role in it. I feel like very few players are willing to go so hard on the defensive end if they're the ones who have to have the ball the entire time.
Yeah, we saw LeBron. He doesn't care to play defense anymore.
Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of everything combined, I would say.
I don't even know what you do. I personally think if you're the Mavs, unless you keep Jalen Brunson on an affordable deal, you let Jalen Brunson walk. Because the best version of Jalen Brunson is on the Mavs, in my opinion. But at the same time, Jalen Brunson isn't worth $100 million.
Yeah, I agree.
I think 4 years, $84 million was a perfect deal, $21 million a year. But I suppose he's looking now at like
Even
4
that.
years. Yeah, that was already reaching it. But suppose he's looking at like $100+ million contract now. I'm not paying him $30 million a year.
No. I just feel like he can't get better than. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think you can really go. I think he's peaking right now. I don't think he could get better than this right now. So.
Oh, look at this little cool effect. I could have shown this comment this whole time. When he
Yeah.
Look at that. I didn't know that. That's neat. All right, for future reference.
You could also share screens and stuff.
Yeah, I saw the share screens. Like, I thought about if I go right here, like hypothetically speaking, I can pull up like highlights and I can pull clips up.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with those. Actually, we don't have to worry about that. Actually, so
yeah, I don't think we have monetization on this.
Yeah, we're chilling for now.
we're chilling for now. Yeah. Next week though, I won't be able to cuss once I get the radio up.
Yeah, it's gonna change a lot.
It will change. I also need to ask them what's a list of things I can and can't talk about.
Probably not the Jewel.
Yeah, I mean, I could Jewel on there.
You think so? I don't know. I
mean, I'll probably be in a. I mean, I'll
Sounds
probably
like
be in a studio, so I don't know if they'll appreciate me jeweling in their like booth, but like, all right. So one last call we got over here from Ethan. Ethan, thank you for for taking your time and just being the concurrent viewer over here and the topic getter. But so who are we picking for the winning the East? It's got to be Boston or Miami.
Yeah, I still got Boston at 6.
You got Boston in 6?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go Miami. This is what we were talking about earlier. In Miami, I think it all comes down to how long Jimmy Butler's out for. If we talked about this earlier. I think whoever wins tonight wins the series. If Miami can beat, because they're in Boston, right?
Yep.
Are they in Boston?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if Miami takes another win in Boston
GG.
without Jimmy Butler, that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard to come back from that, just from a morale standpoint, where you're just down 3-1. You're like, I got to win 3 games in a row now without error. And then that also allows them more time for Jimmy Butler to come back. So I think I'm going to take, I personally, my dad's actually a huge Celtics fan. He went to school in Cambridge, and in the 80s, his roommate, his dad actually worked for the Boston Celtics. My dad always tells me stories that his friend asked him if he wanted to go to a Celtics playoff game. He was like, "Nah, I'm good. I got too much work." Turns on the TV to watch the Celtics game, and he's like looking behind the bench, and he just sees his friend just like waiting, and he's like, he's like, why did the guy mention that the seats were behind the bench? Like, I just thought they were some nosebleed. Yeah, because the seats were behind the bench.
Yeah, I got
he turned on the
seats.
TV and it was right behind the Celtics bench, and he saw like behind Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson, and all of them. He saw his friend just like cheering, and he was like,
"Oh man."
He's like, because he's like, he thought it was just some shitty tickets, sitting like up in the nosebleed in like the heat, but there were tickets like right behind, like being able to touch the players.
He should have gone anyways.
I know. I always tell him that. I was like, you should have gone. He's like, I only been to Miami Heat games. I was like, why is that? He's like, because girls bought the tickets. I'm like, that's a reasonable reason. Yeah, I got crazy stories. My dad, he used to own a import-exportation automobile business.
Nice.
When he first moved to the United States, he had a bunch of rich friends in Argentina and Italy, and they'd be like, hey, I want a Rolls Royce, or I want a 1969 Cadillac Eldorado. And my dad would just go, buy it, put it in the warehouse, and they'd be like, yeah, I want it for a Christmas gift, so just keep it there. And it'd be July, so my dad would just drive around in the cars, because they can't just sit, and like Rolls Royces,
Nice.
Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Cadillacs, Lincolns, and he didn't speak English, so he literally just drive around and be like asking girls just to hop in the car around Miami. And he said he like got invited like to hella Heat games and shit because he'd just be in like a nice car.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, he's like, ¿Cómo estás? Vení acá. Like,
It's pimping.
dude, there's some geek ass stories. I'll pull up the photos. It's pretty geek. That's what happens when both of your parents are dead by the time you're 16 and you just inherit a bunch of money. And just blow it. Yeah. I always tell my dad, I was just like, you could have saved some of that money for me. I was like, I got none of it. I was like, but yeah. So we got NBA Conference Finals. Then we talked about a lot today. We did the James Harden trade. We did the Russell Westbrook trade. So recap, James Harden might be traded in the next year if he continues to be fucking ass. We got Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's in limbo. We don't even know. I honestly think Russell Westbrook could come back. You just need someone to buy into it. But at the same time, weren't there people who were saying that Russell Westbrook refused to run the pick and roll?
What? Really?
Like, there was something like Russell Westbrook, not only did he refuse to run the pick and roll, he refused to play off ball.
Yeah. He's like playing off ball.
which is stupid. Off ball is. I don't know. I think if they want to make it succeed, they need to literally look at what the Washington Wizards did a year ago with Scott Brooks, Bradley Beal, not John Wall, Russell Westbrook, and Robin Lopez. People will remember Robin Lopez was like a double-double machine last season. Not this past year. when he was on the Wizards, he literally, people were like, what is it with Robin Lopez in this hook shot? It was every game. He was just like, pick and roll, give me the ball, back down, hook shot. And the thing they were doing was they would start the game with either Alex Lynn or Robin Lopez, and they would just go the whole game, Alex Lynn and Robin Lopez. And then in the fourth quarter, they would put in Daniel Gafford because Daniel Gafford had conditioning issues, and he couldn't play more than 15 minutes a night.
Oh, damn.
So they would just, yeah, isn't that wild? So they throw in Daniel Gafford for only the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they would just tell Daniel Gafford, you're fresh. Just keep doing what we've been doing. Pick and rolls, back them down, hook shot. And if the hook shot isn't there, you kick it out to the 4 guys standing at the 3-point line. And that's what they did, and it worked. They made it to the playoffs. I mean, they got swept, but
Yeah. So that's true. That's true.
All right. So, you got any thoughts before we return on Wednesday? Thankfully, next week we'll be back to. One of my friends just hit me up through a text who ghosted me last night, and I just saw the text. We were supposed to meet up and watch the game, and he was like, my bad, I fell asleep right after dinner. I was like, cool, bud. Watch the game by myself. Okay, so Wednesday, I'll probably have something coming up with the NBA draft. We'll probably do a little bit more draft stuff just because people like that. And finally, this will also be the first episode I'll be able to chop up and put into a podcast form because the audio has came out 100% pristine.
Let's go.
The first time. Let's go, yeah. Because the last 3, we had audio issues at one point through it. So I wasn't going to upload it because there was audio issues. But now that I know this is perfectly fine, there's that. So if you made it to the end of this podcast or whatever form of media you're watching this on, go check out Will, all his channels. Down below. Also, I'm pointing the wrong way. And go check out my stuff. He has a lot more stuff covering any team. So that's it.
I'll send $25 in your credit of choice to someone who comments bananas if you're watching this.
That's it. Do those giveaways even work? Doing money giveaways? I always see YouTubers do. Do people actually? Have you done one?
My issue with giveaways is that it's just like short term. I don't do it to bring in new people. I do it to retain. So to help incentivize, like sometimes randomly, like I'll hook you guys up if you're just watching the videos. Sometimes you'll get info. So yeah. I don't know if anyone's going to do that in this one though, because it's episode 4.
Do you get random DMs from your subscribers, like on Instagram or Twitter?
Yeah.
It's sometimes I have a few. And it's always usually kids in high school.
Yeah.
Especially like because I smoke weed and I like reference that I smoke weed, so I get like kids sending me their setups.
Oh really? Nice.
Yes, like they'll send me pictures of their like bongs and like the weed they're smoking. They'll be like, "Dude, me and my boys are furred watching your videos right now." Because I'll talk and I'll be like the middle of the video and I'll just drop that I'm like super high or like that I'm going to smoke. So then like they feel the need to DM me like their setups or something, or like they'll add me on Snapchat and I'll just be like, "Cool,
that's
bud."
funny.
Like, it is funny. Like I assume like you like. I don't know why people feel the need to show me their setups, but like, good for them. Good for them, you know?
Yeah, right. Next time I smoke, I'll have to send you a random picture of my setup.
Yeah. You smoke, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. I'll send you a pic of my setup next time.
Here, yeah. I'll send you my Snapchat. I've realized we only communicate via Twitter, and it's might be the most counterintuitive. So I'll send you my Snapchat after this and just add me.
I don't know anything about you, so that sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know anything about you except you graduated from Loyola Chicago in advertising.
That's true.
Yeah, people would not know that. Like, also, I was talking to one of my professors that I was about to start this radio show, and he's like, "Who are you doing with it?" This guy I met on the internet. He's like, "Do you know?" "Nah, we've only talked through Twitter. Do you have any contact information?" "Nah, we just DM'd." And like the professor is just like, "Wait, yeah. I mean, I'm taking his word for it. Like, seems like a good guy."
First episode, first introductions, episode 1. If you want to go.
Yeah, that's how we met each other. All right, bud. I'll catch you Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.